This video will show you how to compare fractions to 1/2. Let's remember that there are many different names for the amount of 1/2. 1/2 can be called 2/4. It has another name of 3/6, 4/8, 5/10, and 6/12. So as we go throughout these 2 pages, we will be using all of those other fraction names for 1/2. Please feel free to use your fraction bars or draw a lot of pictures, especially if you don't have the fractions memorized that are equivalent to 1/2. Look at number 1. It says 2/6 compared to 1/2, and then it says justify your reasoning with a picture. Now I'm looking, and unfortunately the denominators are different, so these are not the same size of pieces. They also don't have the same numerators. I know 2/6 is a little bit bigger than 0, 1/2 is right in the middle, so I'll have to think about how they compare. How does 2/6 compare to 1/2? Now, if we're using fraction bars, I can think about how many pieces it takes to make 1/2. One half is equal to 3/6, so I can use that to help me compare. I can change 1/2 to 3/6. And then I can see that 2 pieces are less than 3 pieces. So 2/6 is less than 3/6. I'll go ahead and draw a picture. Again, I really like to use the 2 rectangles. When we're working with these comparing questions, though, we do need to try to be really precise. So we'll do our 6 pieces. There we go. And then we have our half. So I have 2/6 compared to the half. And then there's a question here. It says 2/6 is blank away from 1/2. This really comes down to that we know 1/2 is equal to 3/6. So as you can see, it's just one piece away of becoming 3/6 or 1/2. So I can just put 1/6. Go ahead and pause the video while you do number 2, and then I'll talk about number 3. On number 3, there are a couple of different ways we could do this one. 2/6 compared to 2/4. I know that 2/4 is equivalent to 1/2. So when I see 2/4, I recognize that's 1/2. Now I know that it takes 3/6 to equal 1/2. So I know that 2/6 is a little bit less than 1/2. And that's actually something we drew a picture of in number 1. So 2/6 is less than 2/4. Another way you could think about this is if you noticed that the numerators are the same, you can think about the 6th pieces are smaller than the 4th pieces. So 2 of those pieces would be a smaller amount than 2 of the 4th pieces, because 4ths are bigger than 6ths. There's a few different ways you can reason that out. Now it says justify your reasoning with a number line. So if you look at the number line, it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. So we'll go ahead and say that that's 0, and that's a whole. And then I'll find 2/6 is right here. And then for this part, I really have to recognize that 2/4 is equal to a half. And so if I'm trying to find the halfway point, that's right in the middle between 0 and 1. So that would be right here. So it's 1/2. And then right here it says 2/6 is blank away from 2/4 or 1/2. So again, I can see it's just one piece away from becoming 1/2. It's just one piece away from becoming 3/6, which is equivalent to 1/2. So it's 1/6 away. Go ahead and do number 4. You can pause the video and come back for number 5. Looking at number 5, we have 1/2 compared to 6/8. And I see that fraction of 1/2, and I know that I'm right in the middle. If I think about eighths, what amount is equal to 1/2? How many eighths does it take to equal 1/2? It takes 4/8 to equal 1/2. So I can just even cross that out and just think about 4/8 compared to 6/8. I know that 4 pieces will be a smaller amount than 6 pieces. So this is another less than. 4/8 is less than 6/8. We'll go ahead and draw the number line, 0 to a whole. I'm going to put my halfway point first, so I'll put that up above. That's half, and then we know that that's also equal to 4/8. I'll go ahead and fill in 4 pieces on this side and 4 pieces on this side. So 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8. Now I get to think about how far away 6/8 is from 1/2. I can see that really 6/8 is just 2 pieces back to 4/8. It's just 2 pieces away, so that is 2/8. 6/8 is 2/8 away from 1/2. Go ahead and pause the video while you do number 6, and we'll do number 7 together. So for number 7, we're working with 6ths and halves. And again, because these are 6ths and these are halves, I recognize that I can change 1/2 into 6ths. I can think about 1/2 equaling 3/6. I know that 4/6 is just one piece more than 3/6. So 4/6 is greater than 3/6. I can go ahead and write that as my answer. 3/6 equals 1/2. 4/6 is 1/6 more than 1/2. So 4/6 is greater than 1/2. Go ahead and do number 8, and then we can go to the second page.